Hi, you can call me Oilano, and I'm not pretty enough for a better camera. As promised, this second video will cover what I found about the universe's layered dimensions. This isn't about what I've read or the videos I've watched. This is about what I found to make sense with my own personal experience. I'll be able to even confirm a few things for you, and I might even surprise you near the end. We have a lot of words with multiple meanings. Dimensions, another one. This isn't exactly about measurements, but they do provide undeniable symbolism that we can work with. A dimension can also refer to a different point of view, or like a new way to view the same thing. When someone mentions infinite dimensions, they mean this because there can be countless ways to perceive anything here in the 3D. So let's take a look at this. And there's no way y'all had the same initial reaction to seeing that quarter. The same first thought upon seeing it? No. You had one thing to say about the object, feeling, whether it's about money or whatever. The next viewer is going to have something different to say about it, and so on. So like infinite, I don't know, but maybe countless dimensions when it comes to talk about this, different viewpoints. Made some drawings for you, and I know it looks like a busted rubber a little bit. Don't. But yeah, the universe is layered. There's an evolution like regression and progression, and it resembles a big puddle. Here there is a fabric that holds the universes together in what they call a tapestry. I'm not trying to regurgitate what's already been written. I'm telling you, when you leave the universe, you will see this. This is Strawberry Fields Forever. That's a future video. There is a multiverse, but it's nothing like in the comic books and cartoons. When Hollywood introduces a multiverse, it's for entertainment purposes. The the writers hit a creative wall, but they still want to sell more crap. The reality we reside in is much more thoughtful and purposeful with its variations. Okay, you get out there, and it looks like polka dot fabric, but radiant gold, with the black dots just flowing for forever, with this insane brass section on loop. This is why there's so many images of angels blowing horns or playing harp. You leave here, go here, you'll hear it. Each black dot is an entirely different universe having fun in its own way. Every universe is different at the foundational level, okay, making them incoherent, ununderstandable to you. So don't bother guessing what they're doing in the next universe. You should rightfully go insane, because it would make your mind incompatible back here. I'll tell you that a lot of times when we say we didn't dream last night, you may have been visiting an incompatible universe to this one. So when you try to remember it, you just see, dark. And I want to start from the outside because I want to begin with what I call dimension zero, and that's the inactive holding material between all things. This material separates and secures the universes as they have their nonstop parties. It's because of this that they can party in the first place. And then I was awful at math as a kid, and I know now that it's because the math they give us is trash. I'm sorry. No, I mean it's got us pretty far. but I drew all these ones here. These are all singularities, okay? Hold on, I gotta get my cap off. They could be, the ones can be anything you want. Could be people, houses, cars, atoms. What I want to tell you is for every single thing, there's a zero, okay? And it shows up in our energy fields. I forget which layer it is, but this is everything. I don't want to keep going, but I guess I can. But every single thing, everything you can name, has this like energetic coding on it. But this is the part that you're gonna find interesting. When there's a pair decided from the higher realms, right? This appears, and everything, every possible pair is now circled by the same energy. All right, and it's gonna start resembling a mess, but you keep going, and every trio gets identity, and the same energy goes in every possible trio gets circled by the zeros, or the zero energy, and then every quartet and so on, until eventually all the space between everything is filled. Every possible combination to all of it, of course. Something for you guys to think about, because praying in groups takes advantage of this effect of doing things together. You can add to each other's energy like that. So yeah, praying in groups takes advantage of this, while things like competition squander it. The the zero energy is why all things hold their shape instead of becoming puddles of atoms. Nothing's out there just by itself, okay? There is one constant through the universes, and it's this zero, this inactive presence that benefits just by holding everything. It gets to watch, to observe. When charged, it can even play temporary NPC roles. Get a hint. So every dark spot in the tapestry is another universe. And what happens is when ideas form, where there's room you might find some blank slate somewhere. Ideas form, come together, cause density in the fabric. Okay, from here, the ideas can start attracting things like passion, desire, hope. These energies cause motion. The more complicated the ideas become, the more space there is for emotion to run through it. Okay, the more weight, the deeper it sinks like this, the more souls can enter and play. At the bottom of the universe sit the most foundational energies, and what happens is they chase each other around all day, making it look like a kaleidoscope. These energies then, because of the motion, get stirred back up, and there's like a blender effect. So you got, down here you got the opposites declared, polarities established, and there's just magnetics in motion, and this reaches back up, powers the entire universe. So you lose emotion, you lose drive, and guess what happens? I mean, it's not as fun being not as much motion. All right. So, just a little, connect a few dots maybe. We're gonna go through them now. What I know, the first dimension would be just you. Okay. You ever woke up, no alarm, nothing to do, and you just stare at the ceiling for a minute? It's nice, until something, you have to go to the bathroom or something. But oneness is a state humans all over the world and through history have been trying to achieve and maintain for themselves. And it's always just a return home. Once upon a time, you're only one thing, and it's healing to come back to that one point. As humans, we're never one thing, but we can embrace our entirety as one thing. And this is a blissful state. There's a lot of words for it. I call it samadhi. Anytime we're off balance, it's always because we took on more than we're supposed to. So we just need, and I didn't say more than we are able to, I said more than we're supposed to. So we just need to return to ourselves by dropping everything for a few minutes. And this is why people ever meditate or even go camping. When the idea of two is introduced, the oneness explodes with countless possibilities because things are pairing up now. We have combining. With two, we have this thing called comparison. We have possibility of interaction. We have opposites. We have rejection. With two, distance becomes a measurable thing. Anything can be measurable now because one can be used as a constant and you can measure anything against it, like speed or temperature. Every image we hold or create is actually 2D. Photograph is 3D, while the image is not. Paint and canvas are 3D things, but the image you're studying is not. Same thing with your imagination. That's 2D. This is why you won't be satisfied. A lot of people won't be satisfied until you've manifested that dream and brought it into a 3D world where the rest of us are. So keeping things in a 2D state leaves us hungry. Just having a blueprint or a song lyrics or a script is never enough. We want to see it show up here. We're rooted in 3D, so we do a lot of work bringing our world forward from the drawing board. There's a mindset, 2D is reactive, oversimplified. Yes, no, on, off, black, white. And so we give this to the computers in the form of binary code. Adding depth gives us 3D, a third dimension to measure. For humans, this is a mindset level of seeing is believing. Because we're here mastering this level of thought right now, finding it hard to, tell you something new. But 3D behaviors don't work for humanity anymore, and never really have. But finally, we don't want them anymore. Profiling is 3D. A lot of people don't like ice, and I don't know the whole story, but I can tell you, unless the job is performed perfectly, it's a huge step backwards for all of us. So their presence stirs up anxiety because of this. If they screw up, we all take a hit. We'll lose generations of progress if anything awful ever happens with them. Advertising is entirely 3D. How many times have you been fooled by commercials by now? You go through a drive-through, and your burger's nothing like on a TV. Your food looks like it's been sat on. At some point you were supposed to say no more and stop asking these places to feed you. Gambling's 3D. You take a bet because it looks good without knowing the future of the cards or talking to the athletes. You take a bet after learning just enough to make your inner voice, the ego, excited. So these are some of the examples of the old 3D world we're trying to leave behind. Like I started to tell you in my last message. One more thing about gambling is the reason that these things exploded on apps and they're more available because people are starting to realize this. So they have to make it more available. The 3D mindset. Offered humanity some very rough paths, and we took them all. Maybe here's where I remind you that you're not a 3D being. Nothing is. You're not a body. You are the higher mind that haunts it. And by doing this, forgets a lot of itself because the human DNA can't project the whole thing yet. The thing you have to wonder now is, if I'm not a body, what else isn't what it looks like? So when we leave the 3D mindset, everything will have to be relearned, but it'll make more sense when we're done. 4D is not space or time. I've actually spent a lot of time here back in my harder, questioning days against intelligent reality. It makes sense to wonder if space and time are higher authorities, because I did it too. We can look around and see what seems present. Time passes on its own, and the space between things can decide so much. What is going on here? Oh, you know what? Oh boy. Okay. Time passes on its own, and the space between things can decide. It can hurt you, and so it seems controlling. So there's one path that can lead you to this idea. Problem is, everyone already knows that time and space don't exist down here until there's something in the 3D. This makes time and space servants. They appear as they do because we haven't dominated them yet. We think they're above us and out of our control, time and space. Truth is, everything is out of our control until we tame it. Looking at time and space and claiming they're larger, more sophisticated devices than the 3D is a lot like popping the hood of your car, pointing to like the alternator or something, and telling me it's actually a whole other car that's exponentially more sophisticated than the one it works for. Space and time are components of the 3D realm, and they don't exist outside of it. Okay? So we started at single point, went to length and width, then we added height in the 3D. The next direction we go is inside. 4D is inner. We measure weight now. Literally and figuratively. We measure weight in 4D. So 4D is the meaning of things. A 3D world is given meaning, and when it's performed by an egoic mind, it becomes a nightmare. This is how thunder in the distance became the wrath of a vengeful god. Okay? A 4D world is asked of its meaning, trusting that everything already has meaning, and it's not to terrorize you. When a human in a 3D body evolves itself into the fourth, there's inner knowing from that point on. Lots of bad qualities disappear. Dependency, people-pleasing, inadequacy, you're done. You're done with that. The best way to describe the result of hitting a 4D mindset is you will not need your mood meds anymore. It's 1,000 years of therapy in a heartbeat. For a species to reach 4D thought, you're looking at a planet of civilians that won't be run over by politics and sales tactics. They won't hurt or take from each other either, knowing their own worth. If I wanted to control you, I'd do my best to keep you distracted from ever going within by using outer drama as a source of fear you're going to feel you need to lock eyes with. If I wanted to control you, I'd worry you with information from outside yourself, then tell you you're still scared because you didn't get enough of my information. You're not prepared yet. When a human ascends while in the 3D body by going within, it automatically comes back out with cleaned eyes. Immediately after going in and learning yourself, you come back out and realize the connections of all things. This is 5D. Space becomes meaningless now because it's filled with invisible lines of communication. The farthest star doesn't seem far away anymore after realizing we're all one field. The space dangers of sci-fi movies become meaningless. No ship, no air, no propulsion. It's like, so what? 5D brings your psychic gifts. The stars, they're waiting to talk to you all. The only thing stopping you from going to Mars or exploring entire constellations right now is your self-imposed caveat of bringing your body along. but we can blame Hollywood for that. Truth is, a species stuck in 3D shouldn't, and never does, have access to interstellar travel. Every developing species in the cosmos is quarantined until they hit the 5D mark. When a species matures into the 5D, great things happen. The word provision becomes almost dominant. Everyone works to provide because the energy actually comes back around instead of having an entitled government blowing it on guns, or it's all gathering dust in some billionaire's, offshore, half illegal bank account. Spending money isn't seen as a punishment, but as natural as breathing. So, like fines and interest rates, stop making sense. Flow and travel become paramount in a 5D world. For the individual, it makes you pretty expectant of a working relationship with the universe. The things you need are here. Your needs can't change unless you do. And we're doing this. This generation, you and the rest of the people on this planet right now are making this happen. We're doing this. 6D is superpowers. Let me give it to you straight. Hold on. $6D is where the legit superpowers are. The comic book stuff. Humans in history have performed a ton of 6D abilities sporadically. Okay, once and forever, we'll hear what seems to be a myth of people superhuman strength, or people starting fires with their minds, creating gold coins from thin air, walking through walls, hovering, teleporting. At 6D, you're put in charge of the 3D like you're in God mode. Not God, because you're still playing by the rules, still obeying the same universal laws that govern everything else, but it will feel like God mode with the instant manifestations. 5D was realizing the connections of all things. 6D would be seeing how everything moves together. Like at 6D, you're seeing and therefore able to understand the universe's clockwork in motion. You'll be able to make an entire spaceship, something that's never even been produced before, just by willing it into existence. And this is how a few of our most mysterious monuments were created. Summoned. Okay, the stone for the pyramids didn't literally have to come from hundreds of miles away, but it could have acted as an influence to the 6D being who just thought the monuments into existence. At some point, the creator said, "Oh, and I'll use it'll be just like the stone from that quarry over there," and that's how it came out. 7D is very angelic. An entity from this magnitude of complexity can actually break up and be many humans at one time in a 3D. This is cheating. Okay, so imagine playing an online video game where you can act as up to 100 total players at once. Okay, imagine the capacity you would need for that. You can't. Honestly, anyone wanting to talk much beyond this point should be hard to receive. To go this far ahead and think you could bring it back down to our current intellectual level to be understood by everyone here should be impossible. So use your discernment with the claims out there. Okay. If you're asking me how many dimensions there are, how many levels there might be to this universe, the answer seems to be 12. Some say 9. There are reasons for this. If your path to humanity meant you were last of plating like me, you probably feel as I do. You just want to get to that 6th level, man, because we're gonna party after that. You just want to just get there, okay? If you come from an even more evolved species like the Arcturians or something like that, you might expect there to be more because the feeling is just inherent. I'm not a salesman. I won't fill in the blanks just to make content. I'm giving you what I've come across in my experience, and maybe you'll have the rest for me. But you gotta try. There are those that try to describe the dimensions as different places. That's not even useful to anyone. Look around you. This planet, this life is what you're here to learn about until you can help fix it. Right? What I've given you so far is even echoed in the individual human's lifespan. First, you're a baby with only enough consciousness to give at first to yourself. It's a phase. You'll just cry, or when something comes up. Then you develop yourself alongside everything you're not. Okay, adults, your parents. This is how a human masters 2D in its lifetime, by being raised and forced to live out the kindness of others. Parent to child creates a yin-yang situation. As a parent, you fill in where they lack until they get it. This is the toddler years where you can't really do much for yourself still. You're just starting to interact with life and getting into trouble. Then you start wanting stuff. You see a commercial for a toy, you go crazy. Then you got an image for yourself. You might brand identification might start. Then you start dating. Okay, that's all 3D stuff. Near the end of high school, at least the last 2 years, you should be asking, who am I? What am I to become as I ready myself to go off on my own? This should probably be ages 16 to 21 maybe. Step 5, get a job to contribute. And this is where you really start to realize that nothing works. In reality, our reality, the world falls apart here, because step 6 is supposed to be multiplying what you have to give to the rest of your species, the gifts you came with. That high school, those 16 to 21 years, was supposed to help you uncover during step 4, instead of demanding bad math and Common Core, or what a mitochondria is, or whose death sparked World War I. For approval, you were forced to know that instead of yourself. So most people perform their entire life without step 4. You think little Donnie did step 4? Or anybody in DC? Only great people like MLK and Gandhi get to step 6. But you can see how the pattern tries to repeat itself through us. And that's what I have so far. If I'm excited for our future and you're not, it's because I do know something you don't. Hopefully, something I said helped you make some new connections and give you more meaning to what we're doing here as humans. If you liked it, click it. If you want more insights like this, subscribe for more. I'm shooting for maybe 2 videos a week until I get good at this. Eventually, you're going to be as excited as I am for the coming future. You keep talking to me. The next video, it'll be my introduction to astrology. This is stuff I feel people should know about the stars and constellations before even asking about birthdays. All right? So, see you then. Oilano's done. Much love. Goodbye.